Good morning, everyone. It's Monday morning, August 10th, and we're excited to be here. We are with the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and we've got a couple of rock stars, a couple of Canvas rock stars, Samira and Tyler, that are joining us today. We are so excited. We've already got our good friend Jonathan, who's on here saying that he loves UAB. He's their biggest fan. I don't know, Jonathan. I might be the biggest fan just in the few 5 minutes that I've been able to spend with him. But they've done some pretty incredible things for everybody out there in the community. Right now, you will see that I just barely dropped on all the different platforms a link that goes to a www.uab.edu site. Go check it out. Samira and Tyler are making available to everyone, whether you're a UAB employee or anyone else, these resources where they have trained their educators, where they've given just a significant amount of resources to get people up and running. It's yours. It's free. Go take it. Give them a little love on social media if you use it, but go and use it, please. With that, of course, we want to know, as always, who are you? Where are you from? So post it in the comments, and we're taking questions as we always do throughout the presentation. So I'm going to hand it over to Samira and to Tyler. Take it away.
Excellent. Can you hear me good? Tyler, you can just say yes. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. My name is Samira Lauzai. I'm the Deputy Director and the Manager of E-Learning Services and Quality Assurance for the Division of E-Learning and Professional Studies at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. In my current role, of course, I'm an administrator. That's my full-time job. But I also am an instructor for UAB as well. I teach an online section for the first year experience course at UAB. I also, in the fall, I will have a secondary appointment with the UAB's graduate school, where I'll be teaching an online course on leadership. In addition to that, I am also a student, and I'm just transitioning now from a master's into a PhD program in medical sociology. I am also the mother of 3 kids and a wife of a full-time employee with here also in Birmingham. So the reason I'm telling you all this is not to tell you, oh, look at me, how amazing I am and how busy I am and all that, and I have it all together. It's really not that. It's truly being able to do these different things was an eye-opening experience for me. But also, mainly being a student, I was able to see the challenges from the student perspective, but also being able to take those concerns also to UAB leadership and all that and address those concerns. So I'm really excited about being with you here today. We have a lot of great things to share with you. And as mentioned previously, there are a lot of resources on our website. They're open source, but also we will share our information at the end. If you have any follow-up comments, questions, please feel free to reach out to us, but also feel free to interrupt us during this session. I will turn it over to my very dear right hand, Tyler Weldon, who just came back today from being out for 2 weeks as he just had a baby. Take it from here, Tyler.
Hey, thanks, Samira. Yeah, as Samira said, I just came back today. So it's a great way to start back my first Monday back by doing Canvas Live event. So a new parent as of 2 weeks ago. So very excited about that. So at UAB, I'm the Canvas and Academic Technology Administrator. So I get to work hand in hand with Samira and the rest of our instructional technologist team. So my background is I finished up a PhD in adult education. So kind of came from that and actually have spent the last 3.5 years as a remote online student at Auburn University. So, get to, again, have, like Samira said, have that experience as both as an administrator, but also what it means to be a student in a remote environment. So very excited to be here. I'm going to pass it over to Samira. She's going to kind of take it from here and talk about a little history about what we did during this pandemic. And I think things that we did that were successful. And then we'll pop over and actually show you that ELearning remote website and really what we did on that website that we felt was super helpful for us.
Thank you. And by the way, I am not a fan of Auburn. This background does not represent me. It's just my son's room. It's quiet here, so I decided to do this presentation from his room. All right. So let's talk, in order for us to put things kind of in perspective, let's talk about online enrollment. Like most of the institutions we've seen, especially between 2014 and 2019, high increase in enrollments in general. But along those also, there were higher, we've seen kind of a consistent increase in online enrollments as well. So the green line represents the number of online students enrolled in at least one online course here at UAB. Then the yellow one or orange one represents the number of students who are enrolled in a fully online program or just taking their courses all online. And as you see, tremendous increase there. And I guess one of the reasons I'm sharing this, as you understand, when you work for an institution that does that, that sees that, there are challenges with that and certain things on how do you respond to that increase. Next, thank you. All right, so the Division of E-Learning and Professional Studies was established back in 2012, and we were tasked with these main three things. So as the online enrollments increase, we needed to support the development but also to ensure the quality of those online experiences. We wanted to expand UAB online by collaborating with the college, but also with the different schools across campus. In addition to that, and as many of you know, in order to deliver that quality online experience, we needed to focus on providing faculty with professional development and training opportunities to make sure they're ready to deliver those quality online experiences. And when we talk about professional development, we are focused on technology. That's key in providing those online experiences, but also on the pedagogy side as well. Right, so we are a centralized unit. So while some schools here at UAB have their own team of instructional designers, instructional technologists, but really our services are really available for everybody across campus. So what we focus on, we provide training and support for faculty and students. And training is either for individual faculty members, for group faculty, for different departments. When we do that, either face-to-face, especially prior to COVID-19, but we also do a lot of remote and virtual training sessions. We provide Canvas and academic technology support, and we'll break those down in a moment so you can see what type of support we have, because we do have Tier 1 support through Canvas, meaning we send everybody for technical support issues directly to Canvas, whether they're students or faculty or administrators. Anybody who has an account in Canvas can go directly to Canvas, but we also have certain things we support here at UAB. We have a team of credentialed instructional designers who work with our faculty to develop their online, hybrid, web-enhanced, but also face-to-face courses. And we work with them from the beginning to the end of an instructional design project, but sometimes we also work with them on consultation basis, so whatever they want to do with us. We have 2 media studios in our location, and as you can imagine, even during this time where we were not able to be on campus and open those studios, there were a lot of things we had done remotely for that. We have a huge Quality Matters initiative here at UAB. It started back in 2015. I am one of the coordinators for UAB. I am also a face-to-face and online facilitator for the Quality Matters workshops. I am also a master reviewer, which means I sit in these review teams and review the quality of online and hybrid courses. Within that, we provide a lot of workshops for faculty across campus, but also we conduct formal reviews and informal reviews at UAB. All this information is on our website, so feel free to go and look at our processes and ask us if you need help with that. As you can imagine, anybody with the growth of online enrollments, anybody who wants to start a new degree, they come to us so we can help them conduct a research and market viability study. We also have 2 instances of Canvas, something I really wanted to mention here. We have one instance for the regular academic for credit courses. Then we have another instance of Canvas that it's dedicated for professional studies or continuing education courses. And we have seen a tremendous increase in the demand for those during COVID because everybody who had their initiatives or teaching or doing training in a kind of a face-to-face environment for the community needed a quick way now to transition those to an online environment. So we were really thankful that we had that other way and other platforms to facilitate that. As you can imagine, with any institution, higher ed institution, state authorization is a big thing we do also. Our manager is in the division of ELearning and professional studies, and she has been extremely busy with the changes in regulations and policies as well. So we could not have done this without a strong team. I always say when people ask us how we responded successfully to COVID-19, I always say we actually started responding to COVID-19 prior to COVID-19, and that's through building a strong team. So our hiring process is really, we go through a lot of work, and Tyler can tell you he's one of the people that started with us. I think he's been here about 2 years. So we really pulled the entire team together to conduct those interviews, and even for entry level positions, we want to make sure that we have a really good onboarding process. So we train our team members because ideally at the end of that kind of onboarding time, we want to make sure we have a strong team member who are also reliable. That is key in our division because we are extremely busy and nobody really has time to micromanage. Yes, we are available to provide training and all the resources and a supportive environment, but then at the end, you really we want somebody who can hit the ground running, but also reliable because we don't want to circle back each time and say, has this been done? Please do this and those kinds of things. So we understand, everybody in the division understands the urgency of the matter and what needs to be done during this time. So that was really part of what made us successful. Yes, we have titles and we have an org chart on our website for HR purposes, but it is truly, we tell people titles don't mean anything. Tyler is within my team, but he assigns me things to do. He tells me what to do and that sort of things. And it's the same things. We do all that really in a collaborative manner. So if we don't have a manager's title or a director title, so you will eventually get to lead initiatives. In addition to some of the things we do for the entire campus, we have initiatives that we launch in our division all the time. And any person, even somebody who has been here only 6 months, they can actually lead that initiative. It's truly based on what we see, your capabilities, but also what you're passionate about. And we let you go and really just take that and run with it and make it your own job. We create processes. We really believe in continuing improvement. So anytime we add people to our team, we say, please look into what we've been doing. And we're looking for someone who will take that and take it to the next level. Cross-training is key. Tyler wouldn't have been able to take 2 weeks away during this time, but one of the reasons he was able to do that, because we had that cross-training, that we see it, we know that one day we will need it. If it's not COVID, it's for something else and something may happen. And we don't want to be struggling trying to get a team together and see who knows what. So we create a process. Cross-training is key. While we all have what we call maybe 70-80% of our daily job mastered, but we also need to know what's going on in the division and be able to pull teams together to say, okay, that person is going to be away. I need somebody to be able to do this. Backup plans are key also during this time. When Tyler, way ahead, I would say probably as soon as he found out that he was about to have a baby, we started planning and we said, okay, let's make sure we all know what Tyler is doing. So when he's away, we know what to do. And as we got closer to that, we kept like an open communication channel and we worked together on making sure we knew what to do when he was out. Professional development is key, and we pride really ourselves, my supervisor and myself, in doing this. So we go to conferences, but we also do a lot of professional development for our team internally, not only on how to do our jobs and be better trainers, instructional designers, media experts, but also on how to communicate, on how to build strong teams, but also on how to take ourselves and really build resilient teams. We have nice programs here at UAB on how to recognize but also appreciate highly achieving individuals. But also, even internally, we do that. We work as a team. The credit goes to the team, but we also take care of our team members and we make sure we highlight what individual people have done. We create a really great, enjoyable work environment, whether we are in the office or outside the office. So when we were prior to COVID, certain things we had on the schedule every semester. We had within 2-3 weeks, correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler, we had what we called Fun Friday. So we took a Friday, we had no meetings in the morning, and then they starting at 11 around lunchtime, we got together. We brought lunch in the division, then we brought games, like video games, board games, including puzzles. We brought our hobbies to the office. I'm a knitter, I crochet, so I bring that. So we all get together in a large conference room, including our student assistants. We get together and enjoy a quiet time, really meeting free, and just spend some time together, eat, play, laugh. Then we end our work, our work day a little early. I hope no one is really listening. So we say we are ready to leave for the weekend. Then in addition to that, I would say towards the end of the semester, we get also the team together and we go out. People generally I let them select like a place where they want to go for games or whatever, either indoor or outdoor, depending on the weather. And we get together and we also have some fun. Even when we went to COVID, after COVID, we still tried to maintain that virtually. My supervisor and I went to Tyler's birthday and we put some cupcakes on his doorsteps that he came outside and got with his wife. We had a baby shower. We had birthdays celebrated virtually. So there were a lot of things done that way. So that really helped us a lot to really keep our sanity, keep that team that we built. We worked so hard on building, and just keep things going that way. All right, so our roadmap. So certain things here we've done, and we're showing some numbers here prior to COVID. We just some numbers here. I think there were over 1,100 just tickets. And when we talk about service tickets, I'm not talking about the ones that go to directly to Canvas or some other technologies we have, because people also submit their tickets to Respondus, to Zoom, and that sort of things. This is truly what was done just internally, what we supported. And Tyler will talk at the end about certain things, what those focused on. We went online. The decision to go remotely was announced on the 11th, but I knew, just prior to that Sunday, that's what's going to happen. So we immediately started focusing on 3 areas. So we needed resources on our website. We needed resources for our faculty transitioning to a remote environment. We looked at some examples sent by Canvas, but also by UAB leadership. So some of our other institutions, what they already built. So we knew we needed something like that. At that point, we wanted to quickly focus on faculty. So we built something truly focused on technology. What are some of the resources available to you as far as technology to transition to a remote environment? But the second main thing, it was truly training. So what are the training? We had been doing training for a while. I mean, we've always focused on training. But in my mind, that was truly something that was really, it was my kind of task. And what I was looking at is like putting myself in the shoes of faculty members who have been teaching face-to-face for a while, and now they had to transition to a remote teaching. So I asked myself, Samira, if you were one of these faculty members, what do you want to see? So I looked at 3 things. I focused on 3 things. So I said, first, they have to determine quickly, are they going to be teaching synchronously, or are they going to move everything into an asynchronous environment? So based on that, I said, well, if they're going to be teaching synchronously, we need some tools very quickly showing them how to do that via Zoom, because that's the approved technology. And when you do it via Zoom, so truly, what are some of the features that are available to you? Some tips for having those live sessions with your students. If you're going to do this in a synchronous environment, what are certain things you will need? So people more likely are going to need to record their sessions and now upload them to Canvas. So what are the tools that are available? We don't need to tell them, go purchase this software to record your sessions or anything. We needed to take what was already approved and available at UAB and show faculty members how to do it. But also, where can we help? You know, do we need to do the post-production after they recorded these? Do we need to do any captioning? So how do we address accessibility for that? The third key here was their assessments. They were planning on doing all these in a face-to-face environment, you know, their presentations, their exams and all that. Now suddenly they have to move them to an online or a remote environment. So what do they need? So we quickly needed to create workshops around that and resources around that. When we talk about assessment, we talk about academic integrity. And we talk about that. We talk about proctoring services. We always had live proctoring with ProctorU and Respondus monitor. But now, what do we do? How do we do that? We had them only available, especially with live proctoring services. We had them only available for online courses, and we said 2, exams per online section and all that. Now going into this remote environment, how do we address that? We quickly got together and with leadership and said, no, we're going to have to open it to everybody. And we had to work with our vendors and make sure they have also they were able to do this. But you can imagine everybody was struggling, wanting to put their assessments online. So we want to make sure that our vendor was also ready. Quickly updated the information on our website, removed the student fees. And we worked with our vendor to really waive all those fees because we needed that flexibility. So even if you waited until the last minute to create your exam with our proctoring vendors, it was okay. We're not going to make you pay late fees. We're not going to, if you had to reschedule, we're not going to make you pay those premium fees. So that was key. The other thing was truly communication. We knew that not only we had to communicate quickly with internally our stakeholders, but really we wanted the communication to be in the minds of our faculty, and they needed some tips on now how to communicate with their students. communicate these changes, but also make sure that they are hearing their students and really being flexible and communicating those challenges that they hear from students directly to us so we can address them as we go. So that's really what this really slide is about. And as you can see, that wasn't like just a one-day thing. While we quickly had to go remotely, decision was made on a Sunday. That night, nobody slept, I believe, because we were all trying to get things together quickly, ready for our team. But we really kind of knew what needed to be done and pulled the team together and say, no, you go. Did you want to add anything on this, Tyler?
No, I think the big thing is just, kind of looking at the breakdown of those numbers, you can kind of see like, that's traditionally, we added users to courses, we did cross listings, but really that service desk request and that technology support, that wrapped up to almost 50% of the cases for the spring. And it was just a good representation that, we tried to track everything that we did. And so you can see that was our largest support was really just those training cases and the, technology type support. And so I think that was, you can really see that's where we try to, especially in April, we tried to, shift our focus, and we picked up a lot of cases that way. Really, just like I said, anything that faculty had a question on, we were there. And that's really in that April timeline, that remote teaching support we took advantage of a booking link that we had. If people wanted to meet with us, they got a hold of our booking link. Our calendars are wide open. If you could book it, you could meet with us. And we're just transparent about, hey, if you have a question, book it. Let's talk about it. Let's figure this stuff out. And I think that was one of the things that led to our success in that. And so kind of piggybacking off that, just really quick, just some numbers, our breakdown. So in the spring, we had 2,600 active overall courses. And so when we say active, that means that there was a teacher enrolled and at least a student enrolled with activity, right? So that was, that's what we mean by active. On average, we averaged around 16,000 active participations, within a week, sometimes daily. That obviously would go up and down, but that was a number we kind of saw periodically, was at 16,000 active participations. And so, looking at the numbers that we got from Canvas in April, about 72% of our modules were viewed, 90% of our assignments were viewed by an active user of our courses, and about 80% of our courses had discussions. And so overall, we felt like we had a really good usage of that spring of Canvas. And then also along with Canvas, we used, third-party technologies that integrate with Canvas to really help with that remote teaching. And so we heavily relied on Zoom and Kaltura. So we heavily relied on Zoom for offering those virtual sessions, those virtual classrooms. You can see that chart down there where you can see the uptick by April, the last one being April, how much more usage we had in Zoom. And then also too, like I said, we use Kaltura for our video management. And I think that was one of the biggest things we saw was having that unlimited storage with Kaltura, and just, being able to take those lectures, record them quickly, and get them up to the classroom. And that was all also thankful just because of the great integrations that they had with Canvas as well. So everything was seamless. And I think that was one of the other big driving factors, that we had the tools in place to move about, from the previous ones. And so you can see, I know we had a question in the chat about how did this change from 2019. So the bottom bar down here at the bottom, that's our video plays. So you can see right there at that bottom, especially coming in March through April, you can see our uptick of video plays from 2019 to 2020. And I think that was one of the bigger factors. I don't have the quick numbers right now from the 2019 Canvas usage, but the video play right there, I think, is a prime example of what the really big uptick we saw. And I think that drives that's sort of the driving, that we were able to have these recorded lectures in a very quick place inside Canvas. And I think that was one of the big things, that they just go to the course, they click on the video, it plays right there. And I think that was one of the bigger factors that we were able to be successful.
Training, as I mentioned, training was a huge initiative during this time. We had always had training, and if you look at I would say the total numbers here, just 871, that's only in the spring, and for us that's a lot. And honestly, if you look, that's what I was saying earlier about, if you look at the biggest numbers, obviously one of them is Zoom, then followed by after that with the online, I guess, recording the online lectures, then the communication and the proctoring. That shows you really like where seeing this really made us think, really even believe that yes, we were on target. As soon as we announced that we were going to be delivering our instruction remotely, we quickly identified what are some of the things that faculty members needed, like now. One thing also I wanted to add here, where we generally take our time in our regular and normal circumstances, and we talk a little bit about I guess some ideas, we brainstorm with faculty and all that, especially on the what we call the other workshops that are not focused on technology. So for example, we have what we call designing and delivering your online courses, or online and hybrid, and we talk about writing your learning objectives, following the instructional design process and all that. And so, yes, that was really helpful, but we knew that during this time, it was no longer tell me about these things. It was more show me how to do these things in this much time that I have, and let me go, show me something, show me examples that I can go right away after that workshop and implement immediately. Then tell me where to find the resources if I need help after this, and what you have for me, how do I reach out to you when I have a question. So that was extremely helpful to do this way. We didn't have long workshops, like 90 minutes workshops. They were all like 1 hour, and we had to say, here is the information, this is how you do it, here is the follow-up information. We recorded every single workshop, and we archived it, and we created it. We put it in a way where it was going to be really easy for faculty to find after the workshop. We created what we call a hub, and we will share that with you at the end because that has critical information. In addition to that, one key component, we had the same registration link for every one of these workshops. So even if you didn't register, you just decided to grab it and always go back to that same link, you could do that. That was key also, because some people will register, other people will try to attend at the last minute, but also we didn't want people to try to remember the link and all that. If they had the link, they saw it somewhere, that was it. They will be able to go back and find it later. So attend these. All right, so supporting faculty and students, that's what I wanted. So we wanted to spend a little bit of time here and talk to you about what we created. Originally, like I said, this is what we had a lot of information ahead of time. This was not like an overnight switch. So certain things were done as we learned more and, kind of knew where we were going, because, so we went remote, then it was during time where students were on spring break, then we knew that they were not going to, so it was an extended spring break, basically, so they didn't come back on that day on the 24th as planned. But it wasn't extended by a lot of time. So basically we we had some time because we were on spring break, but then we also needed to have all this available for everybody when they came back on the 25th of March. So we started building that really just at the beginning, like just focus on technology, provide this information on how to do certain things. And as we learned more, we said, okay, now people needed to learn how to kind of transition to a remote or online environment. But then students also, what resources do we have available to them? So yes, how to access Canvas, how to access these things, communication, some tips for learning remotely, how do you attend Zoom, the Medicare information, and we kept adding all this information to our website. Again, the key there was really these live sessions and the archived sessions. I do want to say and give credit not just to our team, but also to a lot of other units across campus that helped us achieve this. We've always provided our e-learning workshops in collaboration with the Center for Teaching and Learning. They focus on professional development for faculty, and we are one of their, I think, 9 or 10 partners. DSS was a huge partner, as you can imagine. During these times, accommodations saw an uptick, so we needed to also work with them and know when to reach out to them. But we also, in collaboration, we provided a workshop focused on accessibility and how to achieve that through Canvas. Like I said, IT, they have always managed the back end of Canvas, but without them, we wouldn't have been able to do these resource courses. We've seen tremendous increase in requests for resource courses, because what happened, so people that usually do kind of training or provide these, just their resources in a face-to-face environment, when we went remote, they had to quickly find a way, and they saw in the Canvas that the ideal platform for doing that. So we had to create these resource courses, but also we had to handle the enrollment. So we had to work with IT and say, okay, now we have to enroll these students into the platform. So some of the things that moved online, so anybody who received a grant for some face-to-face training, we had to help them move that to an online environment, but also the face-to-face orientation that usually take place for students during summer and fall, that also had to move to an online environment. It was online/remote because they still needed to do some sessions via Zoom. So we had to work with them, enrollment management, to be able to accommodate that as well. I think we can go and now show our website if you're ready for that, Tyler.
Yep.
So we can navigate through that. So here is what we call the hub for you. So as you see, that first that you see where the quick guides to teaching remotely, initially that was the only page we have. And if you see at the bottom, at the top on our website, on any page on our website, we had that. So we kind of there in the face of people. So it doesn't matter where you land on the e-learning website, you're going to see that everywhere. And if you click on it, you are going to go back to that hub that has all that information. So then we created the quick guide for faculty. If you want to click on that, Tyler. So that's really focused more on communication, some of the tools we had available for people there. One key we added here also as we learned more, because when we had these workshops, we talked about certain things. We created a template in Canvas, basically a course template that it went from, I believe, like week 7 or 8. So people can just take that, upload that template into Canvas, then go and just plug in their information. They did not before. We said you submit a ticket so we can go and apply that. They didn't have to do that anymore. We uploaded the pack, we downloaded the package, made it available in a box on our website, and people can just click and download the entire thing. Did you want to add anything on this, Tyler?
Yeah, on this page, I think big thing really on this, so on this page, really on the Canvas info page is the one I kind of wanted to highlight here. So, along with having that kind of the bigger how-to guides, right, on those three, on what Samira was saying, on the teaching remotely and the other ones too, we also sort of tried to drive those individual tech pages. So for an example, on the Canvas page, this is something that persists across all of our technologies. But really it was, we tried to ask ourselves like, hey, what are the main, or, you know, and we kind of thought back, like, what are the main questions we always get, right? So we always get like access, download. And so what we did is, you know, taking advantage of our website, we put that up there at the top. And so, you know, when you come to the site, like if you come to an actual page, like you're going to get, here's the login, how to access it, right? We're going to link those guides. And so we heavily rely on our vendors that, you know, those vendors already make those guides. And so we're going to rely on those. That way, if they ever change, you know, we're not making a guide, a duplicate of another guide, right? So if it ever changes, we have to go back and change it, right? They're already making those guides. So let's rely on that, right? And so we have that information here. But then also along with that, we have a bunch of, you know, we're starting to populate FAQs. But also too, something that we've added during the, you know, the COVID time was the how to get training right there, right? So that was kind of this a 3-layer approach that we were trying to go across was, hey, you just need quick and time information. Well, here's just some quick information, right? But also like level 2 is like, hey, you need some guides, a little bit more detailed. Here's that information. Maybe some workshop, previous covered workshop. And then also the kind of a third information was like, hey, you've gone all through all that, but you still need some help. Let's get in touch with us. And so really you can kind of see that, you know, we have a list of all of our trainings right here, but also too, we archived all of our workshops. We recorded them through Zoom and Kaltura, and we put them on the website. And I think to me, someone from the support aspect, this was one of the biggest driving factors of our success in April, was because when we had faculty come to us, you know, we kind of had a template set up and we could send them to this website and say, hey, check out these videos. But also if you still need help, grab this training link, let's hop on a conversation and let's talk about it, right? And I think it was really that flip kind of approach to support. And it was super helpful because we were able to, a lot of them were able to answer a lot of their initial questions just by watching the videos. And then when they came to us, they had just-in-time specific questions. And that was so helpful because they're like, hey, I already watched I watched the Canvas modules. I understand this, but I'm stuck on assignment group weights. So how can we do that? And it really helped our success because a lot of times, you know, and we found that a lot of faculty wanted to do some of it themselves, right? They wanted to be able to research and learn on their own, but then know that they could always contact us if they had to. And I think that was the big thing on our team that was super successful, is that we're always open to meet. No matter where we were at, if our calendar was open, you could grab it and we would have that conversation. And I think that was a big key to success, was that just being open and transparent and say, hey, we're here to help whatever you need. And so I think Samir, that's what I wanted to share there as well.
So you want to go back to that hub again,
Yep.
And we can talk about, okay, so you see like the second part there, which is the strategies for transitioning to online. So if you click on that, Tyler, that's something that was added. Like I said, the first one that Tyler showed you was really like, I mean, it was done very, very quickly in response. Then as we progressed and we knew where we were going, we kept adding other things. So we created those strategies. This was done with an instructional designer in our office. So we knew that everything we told them, okay, this is how you have been doing it, maybe, and these are some ideas. But we also made ourselves available. So when I talk about instructional design, that's not only, like I said, for a full project. We tell people you can use us even just for consultation. So we have people that would say, okay, I know how to do all this, the majority of it, but based on feedback I received for an activity, or maybe just I'm struggling on how to transition this one piece, and we say, yes, just reach out to us so we can help you with that. We gave them a lot of information on the website on individual things, some of the common things that people talk about, presentations, how you do that, teamwork, discussions, and, quizzes, but also a big thing about service learning. And, it's a huge initiative here at UAB that, we have people were getting a lot of help on how to do it face-to-face, and a few only did it online. But then we pulled some resources with the Service Learning Office and put them on our website and say, that doesn't have to stop. You can continue those initiatives in this remote environment. Then also for students, if you want to go back to the one for student, Tyler, back to the hub again and just click on the student information there. So for students, support for remote learning, and we provided them also what are some of the expectations. We wanted to put out there that the DSS statement for them as well. Then we just getting started. We understand that a lot of, so every course shell in Canvas at UAB, well, every course at UAB has a shell associated with it, with the exception of the School of Medicine, because they have their own learning management system. So, but that doesn't mean everybody was using it prior to COVID. So we knew that, with COVID, everybody is going to have to go to Canvas. So we started with really basic information. Where do you go? Everybody should have an account, but where do you go if you don't have one? Then just from there, we added some tips for success, very quick and brief videos. So what to expect from learning in an online or remote environment. Time management we knew. We always heard this, and I teach online, so I know time management is key to be successful in an online or remote environment. Then we also created something about etiquette. We knew that students are going to be communicating via Zoom a lot, so we provided some information, or even in the discussion boards inside Canvas. And just really some of the commonly used academic technologies, we just listed a few there, but then we always tell them, okay, we already built, that was already there, the academic technologies website, and we always refer students and faculty to it.
And I think that's a good point too on those. So for an example, on our, let's see if we got one on the Canvas one, on those individual pages as well, when we could, we always add the student guides as well. And I think that's another thing that's super helpful, especially in that time of people needing information, was the information was right there. So if the instructor needed to put that on their website, they didn't have to go find it, right? So they could just say, okay, this is the information I need. I put this in my Canvas course and I can keep moving. And I think that was also super, super helpful that we, that you, along with the instructor guides, you have those student guides as well, because we found that instructors use that often to just take that information and put that in their course directly for the students, which was super helpful, that they could, they didn't have to worry about what they needed to provide. That information was already there.
All right. So let's talk about what we've done or what we're planning on for fall 2020. If you go back to the, all right. So for fall 2020, we continue. I think we knew where we were going. You're going to see it on our website for those who choose to go and navigate it, that we have 4 different, formats for the delivery in fall. We have the traditional face-to-face. We have what we call hybrid, which is if you're taking a class that was originally going to be face-to-face, maybe Tuesday and Thursday, so you will be assigned a day where you go to campus, then the other day you'll be attending remotely. We call that hybrid approach. Then we have 5 online courses, and we have those that are coded to be offered remotely, similar to what we've done in the spring. So we've already published our workshops, and like I said, if you go and Google that, it's a minimum of 27 training sessions delivered completely online. We originally had 21. Then once we knew what the classroom technology is going to look like for those hybrid sessions, we added more. And usually we start, when we talk about fall, we say, let's give faculty about 2 weeks into the semester and we start training. This time we're not doing that. We actually started training last week. And we have, just for this week, just myself, I think I'm listed as a facilitator on 3, co-facilitator on some of that. We have them during the day. In spring, we had when people came back for 2 weeks, we had 2 sessions every day. So we will have one in the morning, then we will have one in the afternoon for those that could not attend in the morning. This time, we have them all as, one session each day. Then we record it, archive it, but we also had them kind of late in the afternoon. We have a lot of adjunct faculty, especially for some departments. So we wanted to make sure those could attend. So we had some sessions from 5:30 to 6:30 in the afternoon. That's truly what's scheduled. It's like group sessions anybody can attend. That's in addition to the one-on-one consultations. We have them available every day as we speak from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we have already that on our website. So people go and say, I want a session on this, and they decide, is there a specific team member they want? If not, whoever, it looks at everybody's calendar and we go from there. And those sessions are maybe an extension of the virtual session. Maybe they viewed the archive, or maybe they didn't and they just wanted their people who want to really just be by themselves directly live with somebody, and they want a session like that. But sometimes it's just a question. It's a consultation. They say, okay, I'm struggling with this. I have a question with that. Can you please help me? So that's what we did. Our instructional technologists and myself have been extremely busy providing training sessions for the departments. We made ourselves available, especially on the hybrid, because it involves kind of a different model where you have an audience in the classroom and people attending also remotely, and there is technology involved, and people want to see what does that look like. So that's what we've been doing. Professional development, as I mentioned before, even with these difficult times and extremely busy schedules, we still continue in the fall to do training sessions for our team. We have one on copyright. As you can imagine, people ask a lot now in this online remote environment about copyright and playing movies online and that sort of things. So we brought an expert here at UAB who is teaching us how to handle those questions and sharing with us some of these resources that the library put together at UAB so we can help our faculty. But we also have a series of our workshops just customized for our team in the fall. We will continue the recognition, that appreciation for the team, especially during these times. We understand that a lot of people put in a lot of hours of work, that's including Tyler now. Those are the busiest times for us, so we want to make sure that that is really captured and recognized. I'm going to say also some of the things that, just like maybe some aha moments here with as we close out this session, is while when we did this, it was truly in response to COVID, but what we've seen that a lot of people saw opportunities. So I'll give you an example. We have worked with the career services at UAB for a while, where they launched. They were thinking already about putting their resources. They used to do only face-to-face sessions with students, and now we worked with them on putting this online. And that has been tremendous help. And we received some really good feedback for that course that launched a few weeks ago. But also when they presented it to other institutions, it was a hit. So basically people really loved the idea, and it was just in time because there was no way they would have been able to continue delivering their training in a face-to-face environment. We are working with the student, health services, and especially those mental health sessions for students. And we're working with them. And as people looked at Canvas and looked at the platform and the possibilities, everybody is thinking, well, we did this really in response for COVID, but now we see the opportunities. We usually struggle to get everybody, from other institutions for some of the grants, some of the initiatives we have. And they're like, well, now we can see how we can continue this. So it wasn't wasted effort or wasted time in putting these resources together for a remote environment, because people see the value, and we want to continue with that. This is, like I said, this is what we're looking at right now, kind of trying to see what is our new normal is going to look like in the fall and beyond fall. But we're here also to also get your feedback once you get a chance to look through our website. We would love to hear from you if you have questions. We are, I believe, at the time where we can take them right now. So if you want to move on to the next slide, Tyler, that would be great.
And while we're moving that over, I did want to quickly pull over what we were talking about, that booking. So we are Microsoft Campus, yes, right? And so we have, we use Microsoft Booking, which is one of the apps that's through Office 365. And I literally I cannot tell you how much of a game changer this was for our support. Just because, you can set it up with your schedule. You can link it in with Zoom or Microsoft Teams. And so people can just pop on there. They see what they want. They grab this, they grab a time, they pick a staff member, and then boom, it's on their calendar. And I think that was one of our biggest things, because we found that, we didn't want to keep wasting time with, like, can you meet here? Can you meet here? The whole exchanging of times and all that. And so that was also one of the big driving factors. So, with that being said, I don't know what school you're at or what your, what technologies you have, but that was always my always big advice is, hey, reach out to your central IT team, ask them what they're using. That was one thing we rely heavily on. Our central IT team uses ServiceNow ticketing system. So we adopted that, and that's allowing us to track and, what's going on in Canvas, so that we can actually see what's going on, like in our support cases, and where we need to make workshops and all that. So it's all, a numbers game, which has been super helpful in these times, that, anything you can quantify. And like I said, a lot of that tools are probably already exist on your campus. Just need to ask some questions and see what's out there.
So awesome. Thank you so much, Samira and Tyler, for joining us. If there's any questions, we're going to be on for a couple more minutes, and they're welcome and willing to take anything that you have for them. We've still got a good sized crowd on here. Again, if you're just joining us, we're here with two of the leaders from University of Alabama at Birmingham, Samira and Tyler, who are talking about what they've done really since earlier this year in preparing their educators and their teams to be able to be really expert remote teachers and educators. They've done a whole lot with Canvas. They've done a lot with Zoom and other technology providers. We're especially impressed and thankful for what they've done with Canvas. And they've shared a lot of that today. You'll see that we've put in comments multiple times that uab.edu link. No, that is not a virus. No, we're not trying to mess you up or anything like that. Your computer will be safe. What that is a whole bunch of resources from Samira and Tyler and team that will put you on a really great path to be nailing remote teaching and learning really quickly if you haven't already done it. They have tons of resources, both video and other, that you could start leveraging with your educators today to get them ready. I don't see any questions coming in. I know we've answered some throughout. We are at about 60 minutes. So as everybody knows, this is something that will be available on the website, on YouTube, on Facebook. Go check it out. We're back here tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Big thanks to the UAB team and to Samira and Tyler. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
All right, see you, everyone. Thanks.